Hey guys, Joe here. So I was just having a conversation with one of the companies we're working with on that seven-figure contractor program. And the one thing that we just started talking about was financing. And I feel like I've talked about this in the past, but I just want to go over it again and what it can mean for your business, right? So, number one is everyone is broke, right? We already know this. You're going out for quotes and just say, they feel like or they thought the fence was going to be $5,000, but really it's like $7,000, right? And at your pricing. But knowing that if you're $7,000, which is already more than what they wanted to pay or expected to pay, you have these smaller guys going out and everyone just trying to book a job, and they're charging like $5,500. And with the current economy and everything else, to go from $7,000 to $5,500, that's a hard sell to do, no matter how big you are, right? And who you are and things like that. So, what I suggested to him is because he did say like he offers financing, and I said, okay, but what's involved with that? And he's like, well, I did the training. I don't really know what the customer side looks like, and things like that. And sometimes they get 0% for 12 months. Other times they're doing this. And I said, well, if you were if you were going to go buy a car, 9 times out of 10, you're going to finance that car, right? And so if you're at the dealership and the guy says, okay, I need you, like, you're going to call this number and you're going to go through the process and, they're going to let you know what's available, right? They don't do that. The dealership will take a very active role. They're like, okay, we're going to take you into this person. They're going to run it. They're going to let you know exactly what your payments are and, things like that. The reason why they do it is because if they didn't, you would literally walk out the door. Like, imagine if they gave you the price of the car and then they said, all right, call this number when you get a chance, and then you'll be able to figure out the pricing and let us know what you get approved for, that kind of thing. Are you going to go back? Probably not. Like, what are the chances that you bought the car? Like, if there wasn't a dire need, right? The car didn't break down or something like that. The chances of you getting another car, if you have to jump through hoops and go, spend more time and effort and things like that, it's the chances of you going forward with that, quote, or with the car are like so much less. Like, it might be, instead of, you might be 50% less likely. You know what I mean? And so what happens is the dealerships won't do that because they don't want to lose the customers, right? So we got to be more like the auto industry, okay? So I'm not saying you be a used car salesman or anything like that, but be proactive in this. So if you're offering financing, but you never went through like the whole process of seeing, what happens, what do you do and all that kind of stuff, do that. But as a, just as a bonus tip that I haven't proven it, like we're about to start doing this, is that when you're going through the process, video it. So if you're on your cell phone, go through and do the screen record and record that. Okay, if you're on your desktop, use software like Loom, Loom. I use it all the time. So if you watch any of my content, if it's like a screen record, you see what I'm doing, right? And just record the process. Now, it doesn't even have to be perfect. I understand, like, you might, like, because you don't even know what you're doing. Well, just record the whole thing, and then during the editing process, you can, like, trim out the things that you need to do. And then, so what you can do is put this on your website. You can email this out to customers, and what I told them is, like, what if you started sending this before you even went out? Because they might already have in their head that the fence is going to be $5,000, but again, like, it might be $7,000. But even if it's $5,000, right now, we have to find money for the homeowners. I say the same thing over and over, and I may be right, or I may be wrong, but I feel like I'm right, is that, because of like the free money and everything else, the middle class, the people that you're typically trying to get the fence, install the fence for, they got the pool, they got the, a car or whatever when all this free money was coming out. Why? Because in general, people buy like they spend as much money as they earn for the most part, right? A lot of people, most people are paycheck to paycheck. And so, like, if they originally were making $5,000 a month and then free money came along and now they're making 5,500 or 6,000 or whatever happens to be, well, then they're going to find a way to spend that much money. So they get the car, they get the pool, whatever, because they deserve it in their mind, right? Because everyone else is doing it, I should be able to do it as well. I've lived that life, you know, when I was working so hard. You know, I see other people with this stuff and I'm like, I want that too. Like, and I would just buy it, but then I would be like house poor, right? So it's the same process. So what happened is they took that, you know, that payment, and now that free money went away. Okay. This has been going on for like 2 years at this point, right? So these people are making, on average, you know, they thought they had that $500 in free money, it's not there anymore. Then on top of that, you have inflation. You know, when you go to the grocery store now versus 2 and 3 years ago, what does the price look like? It's obviously more expensive. You know, what does the gas look like? It's more expensive. So now, on average, I feel like most homeowners are $800 to $900 less in income than they had before. So what this means is now, like, if they used to have a savings account, well, it's got like 20 grand less in that savings account. If they didn't have a savings account, well, there might be like 20 grand more on their credit card, or there's 20 grand less that they were spending. Okay. So what ends up happening is they're way less likely to get a fence, number one. And number two, if they're going to get a fence, they're going to end up going with the cheaper option. But like I explained to him, and I showed a review one of the companies I'm working with just got, this lady bought a fence 2 years ago. It was installed so poorly and they used the worst materials that they literally had to get the whole fence ripped out and replaced with a new fence. So they not only bought the fence, you know, they didn't want to buy the fence the first time, but now they had to buy a second fence in 2 years. So you're basically doing a service or a disservice to your potential customers if you are not offering financing. There's contractors that, when I talk to them, I'm like, I'm not offering financing. If they can't buy it in cash, they shouldn't be buying it. Well, you're putting your, you know, your money habits on your homeowner and the people that you're going out to. That's not their money habits. If they really want that fence, they're going to get the fence, and they're either going to spend less money and find some cheap company to do it. Not saying all cheap companies are bad, but like if they're going with a cheap company, it's usually someone smaller. It could be someone that's just starting out and things like that. And what's going to happen is they could turn into a situation like this person where they bought the fence and 2 years later it's so bad that they need to get it completely replaced. And the reason why they went that route is because the company that installed the fence did not like respond to anything. So they were stuck going this route. So anyway, start offering financing. And if you already offer financing, go through the process yourself so you can explain it to the homeowner. And then also, like, if you know by going through this process that it's either going to be like 0% financing for 12 months or it's going to be like extended financing. So what you're going to do is, like, just say for the 0% for 12 months. Well, in this case, if it's a $7,000 project, you know, divide, or I'm just going to say 12,000 so I don't have to do math. Well, like if it's a $12,000 project and now they can do 0% for 12 months, well, that means that they're only going to pay $1,000 a month versus $12,000 up front. Now take that same, and maybe it's extended financing. So maybe it's for 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7, 9, whatever. We're not telling the homeowner that it's going to be 16.9% financing for the next 84 months. We're not doing that. We're going to tell them that it is, you know, whatever that rate happens to be. It might be like $200 a month. It's $200 a month. It's like, you know, this project would have been $12,000 or it could be $200 a month. But the key, and again, I haven't proven this, but it's something we're going to be testing out, is getting that information to them and getting them pre-qualified before you even go out to the estimate. Because if you're finding people that are pre-approving and going through that process, they're a hell of a lot more likely to be getting a fence than someone else. Because at this point, they already know they don't have enough money and they need, like, most people don't have the money. They just don't. depending on where the area is. You know, again, like I went to this mastermind group, and like, so I'm talking to different people and them talking about the economy and everything else, and he didn't understand what I was talking about, right? And you could just see the look on his face. And I said, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Malibu." Obviously, there's going to be pockets of the country that are doing really, really well, but in this localized area for like the Northeast and the in the Philadelphia area, they don't have money. The vast majority, compared to 2-3 years ago, they don't have money. You see the reports, you see everything else. The savings was at an all-time high when there was all this free money. Now it's at an all-time low. Like, there's much less money in the people's savings account. There's more money on credit cards. You know, it's people are broke. And again, if you feel like you don't want to offer financing because they really shouldn't get it because they can't afford it, they're going to go to someone else. So anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Check it out or try it out. Let me know what you think. Again, we're going to be testing this out. It's one of the things that we do with the contractors that are part of this Fast Track to 7 Figures program. Again, if you haven't heard about it, right now I just have 3 companies in it because I want to make sure everything's dialed in, which there has been issues. So what's going to happen is my goal is to get you from wherever wherever they are, which is typically in that $200,000 to $400,000 a year range, you know, in total sales. And the goal is to get them to 7 figures, so $1 million. And my goal is to do that by the end of 2025. So it's roughly about 18 months. Well, in this case, 16 months, you know, something like that. And so I'm excited to see what happens, but this is just one of the things that happens when you're part of this program. Is the guy, which actually is really nice, like he came in, he's probably gonna end up watching this, but he came in like he was just seeing if we needed help, which is pretty crazy. You know, if we needed to get something delivered or whatever else, which was pretty cool. I really do appreciate that the more and more I think about it. And so he came in and we had this discussion, and I really do think if he actually implements what I said, it's going to make a huge impact on his business. So anyway, again, it's not tested, but if you like on paper, it makes sense, right? So just mimic what the used car, like don't use car salesman, don't do that. But look at the other industries. What are they doing? Because everyone's broke. You know, they're not selling a $10,000 car. They're like, honestly, because I just started looking at cars again, is like everything, in my opinion. Like, I'm looking at cars that are like $80,000, and I'm like, a few years ago, these would have been like 50 grand. It's like ridiculous. People are still buying them at a 30, like, you know, a 10, a 20, a $30,000 premium compared to what they could have done years past. Did they stop buying cars? No. Did the whole auto market completely tank? No. Is it worse than it was before? Yeah. But if you started selling your fence that was $7,000 and now you're selling it for 15, you know, or, you know, $12,000, $15,000, how would that go? Probably not that well, right? So anyway, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you know, put it in the comments. You can always reach out as well, and the contact information is in there. And then if you are a fence company and you're in the Philadelphia area, we're right across the bridge into Jersey, and we're in Woodbury. But if you're about, you know, within, well, actually, we have people that come like 2 hours away because of the pricing. But, you know, we deliver about an hour and a half away. If you're looking for a great company that actually helps the contractors that buy from them to help you guys get more leads and book more jobs and do like sales trainings like this, that's just like off the fly and trying to figure out ways to improve your life and things like that, we might be the company for you. But yeah, have a great time.